Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Wednesday night class, and we are studying the final Torah portion of the book of Genesis, Parashat Vayechi, and we're studying the holy words of Rav Shimshon Pincus. And this Dvar Torah from Rav Pincus, I've read years ago. I've reread it many times, and every time I come to it, it really enlightens me in this exact topic. It's a really amazing concept. It's a very novel concept. And take a look at your screen to see the verse that Rav Pincus is speaking about. Here we go. This is in chapter 48, verse 10. Finally, at the moment that Jacob is about to bless his grandchildren, Menashe and Ephraim, the Torah tells us, Ve'enei Yisrael kavedu mizoken. And now Yaakov's eyes have become heavy because of his old age. Lo yuchal lirot. He can't see anymore. Vayagesh otam elav. And he drew them near to him. Vayishak lahem vaychabek lahem. And he kissed them and embraced them. This is what the Torah says. So the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, amazing rabbi who's commented on the Torah at great length, he asks two questions. Firstly, he says, what does Jacob's dimming or getting heavy of his eyes and becoming old have to do with him blessing his children and grandchildren? Why does the Torah seem to say that, because his eyes are getting heavy and he's getting old, can't see, now he's blessing them? Why that? Furthermore, why does it say, that I'm saying it in Hebrew, the terminology, Vayishak lahem, that he kissed to them and he hugged to them? It should have said, Vayishak otam, or Vaychabek otam, that he kissed them and he hugged them. In the Hebrew vernacular, the way the Torah is saying it is that he kissed to them and he hugged to them. So the Or HaChaim HaKadosh gives a deep answer, and this is what Rav Pincus now dissects. The answer the Or HaChaim gives is that since Jacob was starting to lose his eyesight in his old age, when he came to hug and kiss his children and his grandchildren, he didn't hug them and kiss them in the right spots. He didn't hug them in places that you normally hug people. He didn't kiss them in places you normally kiss people. And that's why the Torah says he kissed to them and he hugged to them, instead of he hugged them and he kissed them. That's all the Or HaChaim HaKadosh says. And to this, Rav Pincus is like, what's the Or HaChaim saying? What does it mean to be hugged in the wrong place or to be kissed not in the right way? Like, what does that mean? So he says a fascinating insight based on what King Solomon writes at the very beginning of the Song of Songs, Shir Hashirim, Song of Songs. The second verse, it says, chapter 1, verse 2, Yishakeni minishikot piu ki tovim dodecha miyain. He says, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. What is going on here? Rashi says, on that verse in Shir Hashirim comments, he says, there are many places that one can kiss another. You could kiss the back of the hand, kiss the forehead. You could kiss someone on their shoulder. But what are we asking from Hashem? We're asking from Hashem in the allegory that Hashem and Bnei Israel are a couple. We're asking for Hashem to kiss us mouth to mouth. Rashi pauses there. The Pincus says, what does Rashi mean? Of course, we know that Bnei Israel and Hashem have a love affair, like a husband and wife. But we're asking Hashem for a mouth-to-mouth kiss? Like, what does that mean? Romantic, right? But what does it mean? So Rav Pincus says, when two people kiss each other on the lips, it's unlike any other kiss. What actually is happening is there's two kisses being given. Each one is kissing and receiving a kiss. It's like doubling it up. And this is what happened at Matan Torah, explains Rav Pincus. At the Mount Sinai revelation, when Bnei Israel first said, they gave the first kiss, they said, Naaseh v'nishma. We will do and we will listen. How did Hashem respond to us? He gave us the Torah. The Ten Commandments, the Torah. That was the kiss that King Solomon is talking about. The double kiss, the mouth-to-mouth kiss. So now he takes us to this week's Torah portion. This week, the Torah tells us that when Jacob sees Joseph's two boys, he says, who are they? As we mentioned earlier, because he lost the presence of God, because he saw their descendants were going to be wicked. He says, I can't bless them like this. Rabbi is saying, when Jacob saw the future of these two boys, he starts asking himself, how can I, or why should I hug and kiss them if I'm not going to receive a hug and kiss in return? Rather, they're actually doing the opposite. I'm going to be hugging and kissing them through blessing them. I'm going to be blessing them. And they're going to be reciprocating the opposite way. They're going to give me wicked descendants. Therefore, explains Rav Pincus, based on the Orach Chaim, he did not want to bless them at that time. When Yosef prayed and prayed and prayed and begged him to bless them, then he blessed them eventually. And then it says that Yaakov's eyes started getting heavy and dimming from his old age. And then, as a result that his eyes were dimming, then the Torah says, okay, he brings them close to him, and he hugs to them, and he kisses to them. What does that mean? Yaakov in his old age, which is very common in most elderly people, started getting generous and patient. Sometimes old people are generous and patient, other times they're very not. Jacob was generous and patient. He realized that this is the end of his life. So at that point, he didn't look at Menashe and Ephraim as unworthy of receiving his blessing, because he was handing out blessings to everyone. Even if they would have wicked descendants, he said he was going to give them a blessing. And this is what the Orach Chaim HaKadosh tells us, explains Rav Pincus. That what Jacob did was he hugged them and he kissed them not in the right places, meaning he wasn't giving them a true hug or a true kiss. A true hug is when two people hug each other. A true kiss is mouth to mouth. Giving and receiving. That's the right place. Yaakov Avinu over here, out of the love he had for his grandchildren, he kissed them, he hugged them, meaning he blessed them even though they weren't 100% worthy, because he wasn't going to be reciprocated with a hug and a kiss. And that's what Rav Pincus says the Orach Chaim was saying, of kiss to them and hug to them, because he wasn't getting anything in return because of those, unfortunately, those wicked descendants. But nevertheless, he showered them with love and compassion and blessings. I guess the lesson we could learn from here is obviously the proper way to express care and emotion and love is obviously when it's two ways. A person, whether it may be in any relationship, whether marriage, friendship, children, if you're only taking, well, that's not healthy. And by the way, if you're only giving, that's also not healthy. The intention should always be giving. But obviously, if you're giving and he's giving or she's giving, well, then you're also receiving. The focus shouldn't be on the receiving end. The focus should be on the giving end. But you have to obviously be aware that it is a two-way street. The most healthy relationships are ones that there's giving on both ends, and believe it or not, receiving on both ends. The focus should be on the giving, but the receiving has to come as well. This is true with hugs and kisses, and this is true with all good deeds and care and expressions of love that take place in all relationships. So we see this amazing concept from Rav Pincus. It should be one that we have in the forefront of our minds on all relationships. Of course, we should not be takers, taking and taking and taking. That's obviously wrong. It's mean. It's not right. But also, don't be taken advantage of in any relationship we're talking about. It has to be two ways. Of course, everyone has their strong suit. You may be better at this, and he or she may be better at that, and you guys come together, and that's why you're a team. You're partners, whether as a couple, or whether in business, or friendship, whatever it may be. But it has to be a two-way street. You don't want to be taken advantage of at the same time. When it comes to blessings, when it comes to giving, okay, we see that Yaakov, even though he wasn't up for it, he did it at the end. But don't let yourself take advantage of it at the same time. There's that balance. So, B'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless us in all of our relationships, that will have a healthy two-way street in all of the relationships that we have, contributing, helping, and expressing our love and compassion and care towards others, and receiving it back, reciprocating it back to B'ezrat Hashem our way as well, in the merit of all the great Torah that we learned this evening. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any questions, I will open up the discussion for questions.